I guess I'll get started here. I don't really think anyone is here right now watching live because I'm streaming quite a few hours earlier than I normally do. I'm in Eastern Standard Time, so usually I stream around like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and right now my time it's 11 o'clock, so I'm not sure if the people who normally are watching live are really on right now or have the free time to watch. So, this little intro here, I guess, is more so for anyone who's watching the replay on YouTube afterwards. So yeah, I'm just basically going to be doing some work continuing the back of the factory here that I was working on my last stream. And then if anyone does happen to pop on by live, then that'll be cool. But if not, this is probably going to be more of a less interactive stream than my last one. It's probably just going to be more so me building and me talking about what I'm doing, sort of in a long form kind of format. As I say with every stream I do, I never really know how long it'll be. I always say it'll probably only be like an hour, and then it ends up being like 2.5 hours, so we'll see how long this one goes. I guess what I will do is I will show what I've done since the end of the last stream for the people watching the replay afterwards on YouTube. And then I apologize if you're watching the replay, and then if people do end up coming in later on live, I'll probably show them what I've worked on again, so I apologize if I end up talking about the same thing twice, but for now, we'll just kind of go and see what happens. So, I am working on the back of the factory. Last time, pretty much I worked on these 4 buildings right here. Or at least these 3 buildings. I'm not sure if I did this one on stream last time. And then I added in these tanks. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but that took quite a while. Because I've never built this area of the factory before, even though I've worked on the factory for many different versions over the years, but I've never built this area before, and I wanted to this time, so it took a while to get things planned out how I wanted. So I got these buildings built. I'm assuming these are kind of just like storage rooms, and then let's see, after that stream, I think a few days ago, I added in these 2 buildings right here. So they're just a copy of the first one that I put in, and these are the correct locations based on some images. I'll show that image that I'm working off of in a minute here. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure these are like storage, transfer buildings, whatever. Okay, my internet had a weird latency spike, so I'm not sure if I think it should be back now, though. I don't think the stream died. Let me just see here. Okay, yeah, I think it's good now. Okay, that was weird. Anyway, so yeah, based on the picture you're seeing in the top right of the screen, you can see in the bottom of that picture all of those black lines through the snow. Those are train tracks. So I placed the train tracks as close as I could based on their location in that picture. And they go up along the buildings here. They either take material out of or place material onto a train car, and then it gets sorted through these buildings and these pipe connections off into the main factory there. So that is essentially what this whole area is. It's basically a rail yard with some buildings strung about it. Now, I don't have the picture like shown on the stream here because I'm not really going to be using it today, but further off back this way, there are a few more tracks, and then there are several more buildings larger than these ones off in this area. So the factory, realistically, you can see where I finished placing the snow for the ground for the original factory. Realistically, I'm expecting to have more scenes similar to this, where it's smaller buildings strung about. Probably pretty close up until the edge of the snow here, so it's really going to be quite large when it's all said and done, but that's not really going to be a today thing. I still have quite a bit to do with what's built already. So yeah, here's the train tracks I made with the design I came up with. Used anvils to create the rails of a train track look like an uppercase I. So anvils replicate that shape in Minecraft pretty well. And then I needed to have ties, or in the UK they're called sleepers, but in America they're called ties. And then I needed to have ballast or gravel that is also part of a train track. So most people, when they're making a train track in Minecraft, they would just use wood and then probably like cobblestone for the ballast, but I needed to make sure it stayed consistent with the snowy atmosphere, so it's supposed to be snow. So I use quartz for the ties and diorite slabs for the gravel, just so it looks white. So it, as best I can, gives off the appearance that the ties or sleepers and the ballast is covered with a little bit of snow. And then that brings me to the next and most recent thing I did, which were the train cars. So if you Google yourself, if you Google Charlie and the Chocolate Factory train car prop, you'll get a link to an auction site that sold a prop of one of the tank cars that was made for the movie. They made props for this rail yard here because this portion of the at least this portion of the rail yard was modeled on the set model, the miniature model. I'm leaning to believe that the tracks from here on backwards might just have been CGI renders. I can't really confirm if they were actually built for the model or if they were just renders. But I know for a fact this part was actually built, and so they built some little train cars to decorate the set with in case the director wanted to have a scene of this area of the factory. Well, they never appeared in the movie. They never filmed any shots back here. But these tank cars did exist. So I just pulled up the image on my screen, and then a few days ago I just tried replicating it as best I could. Now, obviously, it's hard to do a curved anything in Minecraft because they're blocks, obviously. So a tank car is basically just a cylinder. And I needed to make sure that trains weren't too large. I needed to try to make sure, once again, going back to my biggest thing with building in Minecraft is scale. I needed to make sure that the scale of the train cars were not too large. So to make the cars look a little bit more round, I could have easily made the track a few blocks wider and made the cars bigger, but they would have been too big for the scale of the rest of the build. So they're pretty small, so that's why they look kind of boxy, but I'm happy with how they came out. I'm really pleased with how if you look it up, there's a little swirl design of chocolate, and then on the real car, the Wonka font is like the one in the movie on the Wonka bars, where it's a lot more curvy and whimsical looking. Obviously, it was such a small surface, I don't have the room to custom make letters, so I had to rely on banners. So I just spelled out Wonka with brown banners. I think it looks pretty good. Pretty happy with how the trucks of the cars, what they're called, turned out. And then the grindstones as the wheels, I like how those looked. Frames, pretty basic frame. And yeah, it's nothing too special. Ironically, trains, more specifically model trains, are like my biggest hobby that I've been into my whole life. So I'm very familiar with trains and how they should look. But I've never ever built a train in Minecraft. So oddly, this was the first time I've ever done it. But I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. So far I only have one design. I built a car over here. I just have it sitting over here so I can easily copy it with Axiom, and then I can just paste it wherever I want easily instead of having to build a car every time. So this little track here called a siding, this is the correct location based on the picture you're looking at. So if you can kind of familiarize yourself with the picture on the screen there, the buildings in the lower part of that picture are right here. The track is right here, and if you look really close, you can see 3 little objects on the track, and those are 3 tank cars that I have placed here. So I'm gonna get rid of this for now. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is through the whole rail yard, if you look, I guess I should bring that back. If you look at the train tracks here, you can see that they're almost completely empty. There's not a lot of cars sitting on the tracks. But if you look really close on the second track right here, there are 3 cars sitting there. And then right above it on this track, it appears to be 1 or 2 cars. It's kind of hard to tell. And then on, looks like this track, there are 2 cars sitting there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the cars in their correct locations for that scene of the movie. And then separately, I'm going to place additional cars on the track that aren't necessarily there in the film, but because there is so much space here, and there's actually, like I was talking about, actually supposed to be more tracks over here, this is going to end up being probably like almost a 15-track train yard. So it has space to hold a lot of cars, and I want to fill up some of that space with some cars. Now, interestingly, the only picture that I've been able to find on the internet of the prop train cars is of the tank car design right here. And this is by far the one that they've used the most. So the ones that are sitting on this track right here is a tank car, the one up there is a tank car, and then there's a tank car here. But next to the tank car on this track, there is what appears to be a car called a box car. So it literally is just a rectangle that holds stuff inside of it to keep it dry, but not liquid. So it's more like dry goods, like kind of like if you like a truck. Hello, how are you doing? I'm probably gonna mispronounce your name. Lorenzo, Jacob, I'll say that at least. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, so I'm going to build a box car, and then we'll put that in. And then over here, there is a car called a flat car, which is just literally like a flat slab that holds stuff, but it's not protected from the weather, so that's for more like industrial stuff. So I'm going to build one of those, and then we're going to place them on the tracks here. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot of work, but it does take a while to get the shape of a car right. And then because I just build slow anyway, after we place in the train cars, I don't know how much more we'll do after that. But anyway, we're going to do that. From Brazil, that's cool. Okay, so it was easy with these tanker cars because I had a reference to go off of. With these cars that I'm going to be making, I do not have a reference. So I'm just going to have to wing it and base it in a similar style to this, but it's going to have to be an entirely original creation. So first thing I'm going to do is get the materials that I need to make the frame. And I'm going to build it here on the track, and then we can just move it where we want. So it's easier to build it on the track than on the ground. Alright, so what I need to do, basically I have to you know, place these upside down. Yeah, I'm making the train station right now in the train yard. That's what I've been working on for the past week, I'd say. Alright, so I want to make the trucks, as they're called, or you can kind of, I guess, refer to them as like a bogie. I want to make these uniform on all the cars, so I want these all to be the same. I could just copy and paste them, but it will just be easier if I just build it. Alright. Okay, now we can add on the frame of that wheel assembly, and then these two pieces drop down. Oh, okay, so these aren't here. Yes, that's more like it, and then they drop down behind it like this. This is a European style train car. The prop makers use the European tank car for a reference. So this will look familiar. Well, it should resemble, for if anyone is watching this who happens to be interested in European trains, which probably is not many people. This is a European design, quite different than how a US or North American design would be. That kind of is an interesting thing to talk about, actually. You know, the whole point, really, of this movie is they always talk about it's you know, we don't want to set it in a location that's like specific to the United States or to Europe or Germany or Belgium or Switzerland. They want it to be very, like, it could be anywhere. And they did a really good job of that with the architecture of the town and the factory and even the cars, which never really made it into the movie. However, one thing that they did not do a good job with that was the train cars, which maybe that was the reason they didn't end up using it in the film, though I doubt it. But these train cars are a very European design, so if we're basing it off of that, then the factory is in Europe. I'm looking into it way too far, but yeah. Oh yeah, no worries. Definitely focus on school, and the replay will be on my channel later when it's over. So, and thanks for the sub and the like. I appreciate it, my friend. But yeah, like I was saying, these are very European designs here, so it's just kind of funny for a train nerd like me. Alright, so now there's going to be a 7-block gap here. And then I will build the second set of trucks, or bogies, if we're being correct. Okay. So I need now what I might end up doing is, this might need to be lengthened a little bit. Box cars generally are a little bit longer than other types of train cars, depending on like how old they are, like what era they're from. But they are kind of long, so I might need to redo this, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, whoops. Wait a second. Okay, I was like, wait, that looks wrong. It's because it was. Okay, how did I do this again? I always get this part. Okay, right. No, this is all messed up. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm not thinking. That's better. Okay. Alright, so yeah, this needs to be connected because this is gonna act as the frame. And then this part over here, like this little deck, is what this is supposed to be. In real life, this would be a little bit longer. There'd be more space here. I'm not going to add that on right now because a boxcar does not have one of those. Yeah, no worries. Take care. Alright. So, what I'm thinking is, I've been thinking about this, I was thinking about it yesterday. I don't know if I want all of the cars to be red. I think I do. But this is probably going to look a little silly. Just being a big red rectangle. For right now, I'm going to make it only 3 blocks wide, but I'm probably going to end up... In fact, I can already tell I'm going to make this a little bit wider. It's not uncommon for a train car to hang out over the wheels like this. This is going to look kind of weird in Minecraft, but... it's as good as I can make it based on the scale I've given myself. So, let's see. These cars, like I said, are literally just rectangles, so they're pretty basic. And then in the center of them, there will be a door on both sides that allows, stuff to get put inside of them and taken out. This is probably I'm actually pretty excited to be working on this area and to eventually have it finished. Just because I like trains so much, so this is a fun thing of combining 2 of my interests together. Okay, this definitely needs to come out a little bit. Alright, I think, it's getting close. Hey, Angelo. Not sure if I said your name right. I apologize if it was wrong, but that's the, American way of saying that at least, so, how's it going? Okay. Now, there's really not going to be a good way to make this look like anything other than a giant box. In real life, these corners would be a little bit tapered. I might try doing that, although it probably won't look right. But I'm kind of okay with this right now. It might be a little too tall. Let me see how it looks if I get rid of that again. Let's see, what do I like better? A shorter version, the taller. I might actually like it a little bit shorter, although I'm gonna have to think here. So the door will be there. It would probably look better if it was 3 blocks tall. Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be taller, like this. Alright, so the roof is just flat. Now this is kind of, So I'm kind of being a little bit inconsistent here, actually. The bogies, the wheels, the trucks, whatever you want to call them, this is a European style. However, the actual car itself, this is admittedly more of an American design. I'm just more familiar with it. And the European design for a boxcar, which I believe they call them, they're called more like covered wagons or something like that. The European design, nonetheless, is a little bit more rounded than an American design, which is very rigid and boxy. So it will be really hard to replicate the European design to keep it consistent with that, with how small this is. So I'm breaking the rules a little bit, and this is going to be more of an American design here. I don't think anyone is going to care except me, so that's why I'm okay with it. Okay, so next is the doors, and let's see, how do I want to go about this? So there's a few different ways I could do this. Most American designs have an opening, and then the door actually slides like along the length of the car. But I might do more of an old school design and just have, there's also something called a refrigerated car, which just has basically normal doors on it. Kind of like this. Well, kind of like that. However, because this is a odd number, I'm not really going to be able to do that. I'm going to see if I'm going to pretend this is even and just put these here and see if I like that. Okay, no, I don't like that. How about if they're recessed a little bit? Okay. I'm going to just make a door. And it probably won't be functional, but... And then inside here would be wood. And in keeping with the theme of red, I will use mangrove. I just need to see if that's going to look weird on the bottom. Okay, you really can't see it, so that's fine. Okay, now we'll do this one. So because I'm just making this myself, I'm not super concerned with it looking that great, because they're going to be hidden in the train yard back there, and I'm still kind of determining if I even really want this area to be something that you would explore in my map. So I'm not super concerned with these looking all that great. Okay, but the doors will need to be something. And if this was real life, they would be like a corrugated metal texture. Minecraft doesn't really have that. I'm trying to think through. Block of iron, maybe. Quartz pillars would be perfect if they went horizontally instead of vertically. But I might just do it anyway. I kind of like how that looks enough. I mean, this is basically it. Well, do I want it flush? No, it looks better with a little bit of depth. Okay. So we have that. Now, I do want to add a little bit of detail to this if I can. So we're going to start with the swirl. I want to put something similar to this on it. Alright, so I'm just gonna make this up and see how it looks. I actually have prop replicas of the chocolate bars from the movie sitting on my desk. So I'm just looking at those on my desk right now and trying to simulate them a little bit. Alright, so we'll pretend it goes through here and we'll say it pops up there. Don't want them to look... I don't want these to look too similar. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Now we will make this a little bit thicker, so it's going to start out kind of skinny and then become a little bit thicker. Then it'll become skinny again, and then let's see. I kind of like that. Maybe get rid of that hard edge. Same thing here. Okay. I don't like... Okay, it should come more to something like that, I think. And then maybe just have a step pattern right there. I don't hate it. This kind of looks a little weird. Maybe... Yeah. I like that more, I think. Alright, okay, so now I need to just, I'm going to copy this on the other side, but going that direction. And then I will do something on the ends. Alright, so the easiest way to do this that I found doing those other cars is I just go layer by layer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, break 1. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. So these two right here. A break, a gap, 2, 1 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Two red ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5. Which one did I just do? Okay, this one. Alright, now 4 of them. The step in. And then 4 red ones, or 5 red ones. And then 3. Whoops. Wait, I don't think that's right. Okay, I was right. I was like, I counted wrong. Hello. Can I count? Obviously not. Alright, then 2 in the middle, and then 1 on the very end. And that's how I make sure I copied it correctly on the other side, but mirrored. And then this is something I only need to do one time, because I'll copy and paste it and put it over there. And then whenever I need to put this anywhere, I can just copy and paste it instead of making it from scratch every single time. Alright, now let's see, the ends. I think it'd be cool if I could like connected these two swirls together. Oops. So we'll just do it like kind of like that. I don't want this to be too like obvious, so I definitely want this one to be red because I like having it start not exactly on the edge. So I'm fine with that, I think. So let's just see. 3, 2. Okay, 3, 2. All right, so I definitely did that wrong, didn't I? This is why I just go step by step. All right, 2, 3. Okay. Just like that. And then 3, and then 1. Okay. And 1. Like that. Yeah. I'm not going to do anything on the roof. Because it looks fine enough, I think, with the little chocolatey swirls kind of overhanging on top. I think that's fine. Okay. Alright, one thing I forgot to do is I'm going to try to dress this up, maybe. Okay, I'm not really going to be able to do that. I would need to raise this up 1 block higher, and I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to put the stairs on this one. That's fine. Okay, other things that can be done. So, an American boxcar, at least, has a walkway. If we're talking like an older style, it has a walkway that runs on top of it the whole length. Like this, although I am going to just put it flat, I think. And there would be a ladder roughly right there. In reality, actually, if I want to be correct, it would be off to the side. Wait, I need to reference my mental images in my brain of what side that should be on. Okay, I think it should actually be on the right for an American one, so. Okay, there would be a little ledge. You know, actually, this would look better on this one if I used this, because they were usually the same color as the car, so that's as good as that's gonna look. Okay, and then there would be there'd be one like right here, but that looks kind of weird, so I'm probably not gonna put it on. Okay, other little things, other little details. Okay, so this would not be here in real life, but I think I'm going to add it anyway, just to make it look a little bit nicer. Yeah. I do like how this is elevated off. This is accurate. This should be raised up off the ground. This one should also be, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. What might look nice, though, is a stair. And that's gonna be annoying, isn't it? I really want to try to break up this flatness. No, that doesn't make sense. I'm thinking. Alright, this How would this look? This would, once again, not exist in real life. But no, I don't like it. Okay, so this might just end up being... This might just end up being flat. Maybe what I'll do is... Maybe I'll put a little... like, porch here. That helps things a little bit. It's not really correct, but... and then maybe... Yeah, I can put a little... Put that right there. Yeah, a little railing. That helps a little bit. Yeah. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, now, okay. I'm thinking of actually... Well... Yeah. I'm thinking of actually maybe putting a door in here. So you could go in if you really wanted to. And that adds a little bit of detail as well. You know. Okay. What I would really like to do is... see, maybe, maybe this would look great. There would also be little, in addition to sometimes a little ladder being here, there would be little, like, iron handles that go up the side of the car that is for, like, basically just stepping on it. Like that. That actually looks really nice. What do I like more? Probably the fence, because it actually attaches. So this would, I mean, they would be a lot smaller in real life, but this is another way to climb to the top on an American version. So I'll just, they're usually only on one end, on each side. So I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. It just makes it look a little bit more interesting than a flat box. Alright, now the main thing I'm thinking about here is the Wonka banners. There's really no good way to do that in the center. But what I can do is just put it on one side. So like on this side it'll be here. On this side it'll be right there. So I think I'm gonna do that. How long is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Okay, perfect. So it can be WONKA like that. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they can go. I'll probably put them on the top. So the reason I'm doing this is because I need to know what color to make these banners. So this one will be red, brown, and then this is a half and half, so it doesn't really matter. You know, what would be nice is if this swirl, I did this on that over there. Originally I had some red, and I ended up redesigning it so that the banners, the background was the same color. So if, what would happen if I did that? Maybe, does that look, that looks kind of weird. Oh, you know what I could do? Let's forget that. I completely messed that up. Hold on. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 2. Whoops. Okay. And then, this was... Okay. Like that. Right? I think that's right. Yeah. Okay. I could have a red one to W, O, N, K, A, and they would all be on the brown. Well, you know what? I can, this would be a little bit easier here. Okay. So this one needs to be red. I'm worried they're gonna look weird if they're not all one uniform color, so I might just leave them all brown. Yeah, and that would be easier too. They'll just stay like that, that's fine. Whoops. Yeah. I guess if I really wanted to, I could also put that on this side, but I think that would look a little obnoxious, so I'm just gonna keep it on one end. How do you turn on notifications? On the YouTube channel, after you subscribe, if you click the little bell icon, that will turn on notifications for my channel. Alright, there's really nothing else that I think I want to do with that here. Pretty happy with it. I apologize for the noise you hear outside. There's like, I think someone cutting grass or something, so. Alright, next step is to go into Axiom and select this and move it over there so I always have it. I need to make sure I go out in all the directions to cover those fences. Now we'll go up, make sure it's tall enough. This needs to move out by that, and then this one can just come over. That should be everything. Got the wheels, got the top, okay. Now I'll just copy it. This one actually can, well, I need to delete that one, but we'll do that in a minute. Alright, now I'm just going to place it next to this. There we go. Now this is saved for any future use that I need it for. I should have deleted this one before I copied it, but I didn't. Whoops. Alright, yeah, see ya. Okay, now I can just delete it. And now this is free, but we have it saved over here, which is nice. Alright, so I know that probably took like half an hour, but that's just how I do things, nice and slow. Now I just have one more to make. I'll put this back up on the screen for a second. You're probably not going to be able to really make it out, but let me see if I can at least show. So if we're looking at the view like this of the whole train yard, so the camera's kind of like angled like this. 2, 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On this track right here, roughly in this area, if you look really close, you can see some little objects sitting on the track right there, and that's 2 train cars. The one on the bottom is a box car, which is what we just built, and the one attached to it is a long, flat-looking car, which is called a flat car. So I just need to build that, and then I'll have all 3 types that I need to start populating the freight yard with the cars. This one will go a lot faster because it's literally just a flat slab on wheels. So there's not a lot of stuff that needs to get built. Once again, I just need to build the trucks real fast. Okay. Alright, now what is this again? This is 7, I think, if I remember. Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I just gotta build that again real fast. Let's see, the easiest way to do that. Alrighty. So a flat car. This is going to be pretty simple. I want it to be red like the others, although I really need to use stairs and slabs, so it's not going to be made out of concrete, which is fine. So what I would like is actually, let's see. Well, first let me start with the deck. So the deck's gonna be like that. Now, it's gonna be a bit of a problem here getting this to line up exactly how I want. So, ideally this would just be slabs, but I want the stairs to flare out like this, and I don't really want it to cover up halfway, because then it covers up most of this, although that might not be the worst thing. But then the thing is, the decking on top would be higher up, and that's not really how it's supposed to look. But what I'm going to do, just so I can see what I like, is I'm going to do this side like that, and then I'll do this side the other way and just see which one I like more. Alright, so we have that design, or we have this design. I'm leaning towards this design because it's more accurate, and it also doesn't cover up this little detail right here. So I think I'm going to build it with this, and then unless I really don't like it, I'm just going to go with that. So I guess really for these blocks I could use red concrete, but then it would really clash with the stairs. So I'm just going to use wood. And in real life, the deck of this would be wood anyway. So if we're really trying to be sticklers about it, this is more accurate. In reality, there wouldn't even be a little design like this on the edge. It would literally just be a flat deck. But because it's Minecraft and it's so blocky, I feel like I have to do something to make this look a little bit more interesting. So I'm just going to do that, even though this doesn't really exist. Okay, so I'm looking at the picture, and it's a very basic design, but in real life, some of these, especially older ones, had little spokes on the edge that would prevent stuff from rolling off the side. And they would be kind of tall like that, but I'm probably just going to do 1 block tall. And they were almost never like an actual fence. There was always like a gap between them like this. So this is what I'm going to do. And there usually weren't any on the ends here, so we'll just do that. Now obviously because this is so skinny, it's not going to have Wonka on it anywhere, so just going to have to live with it. But that's literally it for this one. So there's really not much else I could do to it. It's a very basic design. So we're just gonna copy this one as well. Alright, now I actually do have to Control C this first, and then it's kind of annoying as it deselects that, so I have to go back and do it again to delete it, but it's fine. And I'll put this here. Make sure I got all of it. Looks like I did. And there we go. We got our 3 different train cars. Let me just get rid of this one real fast, because in the picture I'm looking at, there's no cars on this track, so this one will just be empty. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. I meant to click this one. Alright. Got that taken care of. So, now is the more fun part of actually filling this with some train cars. So I meant to talk about this earlier towards the beginning of the stream, but I didn't. So if anyone is watching this right now or is watching the replay on YouTube, I talked about briefly how, let me pull the image back up. I talked about briefly that I'm going to start by only putting the train cars in their locations based off of the image you're looking at right there. And like I've been saying, they're hard to see, but if you look at the black lines that run through the snow, those are the train tracks. And then if you see anything that's disrupting that black line, those are train cars. So in this whole area with all these tracks, based on that picture, there are only 5 or 6 of them in this whole area. But something that I'm doing with my factory is not necessarily supposed to be set on the day that the Golden Ticket Tour happens. It's really just supposed to be a normal day at the factory, so it's not necessarily needing to be set up exactly how things in the movie are. For the interior, I pretty much made it, everything that was in the movie, I pretty much made it look like the movie. But for stuff like this, like the operations side of it, I'm treating this as just a normal day of them getting shipments. So I'm going to put more train cars in than we see in that picture right there. So yeah, that's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to start by doing them in their correct spots and then add in more after. But yeah, that's just kind of how I'm doing my build to make it a little bit different. The only thing of my build that really shows that it happened potentially on the day of the Golden Ticket Tour is when you first enter the factory and there's the puppet display that like catches on fire. That's really the only thing that's like specific from that day, and that's just more in there as a cool reference because that's a pretty memorable part of the movie, and I thought it would be weird if I didn't have it. But other than that, the factory is just on a normal operating day, so that's why everything is... I'm okay adding in more stuff here. Alright, we're going to start with the tank cars. So let me go copy that real quick. Now the annoying thing... My mouse just died there for a second. Okay, the annoying thing with Axiom is, and I'm just not super experienced with Axiom, so maybe there's a better way to do this, maybe with like freehand, but it's kind of clunky. The Magic Select is a real not great tool. It's almost more work to select everything with it than it is to just draw a box around it. That's one thing I wish they would change about Axiom, is I wish there were better select tools. Okay, I did that. I don't want to go below ground, so I do not want to take the snow with me. Okay, raise it up here. I apologize for the banging you hear in the background. If you were watching my last stream, you will know that my next door neighbor is getting part of his roof on his house replaced. So they've been doing construction on it for the past like week. And there's just nothing I can really do about it, so I apologize. Alright, copy. Alright. So the track that I need to put them on is the second one from the building, and looks like they're gonna be about right here. So paste it, and I got lucky and I put that right on the money. But I do want to move it backwards a little bit, and it looks like it is slightly back from the edge of the building there. Probably about right there. That's where we're going to put it. And then there's another one connected to it. So I'm going to paste it in. Give a one block distance like that. And then that's those two cars. Now there is a box car attached to the back of it, but I'm gonna do the tank cars first and then come and do them all the like cars at one time, so I'm not constantly going back and forth here. So I'm gonna move on to the next tank car, which appears to be all the way up here on the third track from the edge, so this one. That banging is so annoying, I apologize again. And it's pretty much on the end. But not all the way, but it is past the back of this building a little bit. Like halfway, so like, do one more. About right there. Beautiful. I just think this is so cool, like filling up this little train yard here. Alright, that's it for the tank cars that are actually in the movie scene. We'll be adding in many more later, don't worry. But now I'm going to grab the box car. Like that. Let's see here, make sure I grab everything. That's the only thing. It's a very useful tool. Sometimes the user interface I feel like is kind of a mess. I feel like the way it displays what I have selected and not selected can sometimes be very not good. Alright. So, the box car, there are two of them. One of them is right here. The other one is like right here. So, let's go place those. It should be good. Yep. And we'll give it one block gap. Once again, there's the box car. Alright, now the one on this side is on a pretty far over track, so it's on the sixth one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll just place it first, and then we'll see. Let me see where the placement of it is. So it looks like it's about roughly like halfway in between these two cars, but not quite all the way, so it looks actually more like that. Alright, so that's it for the box cars. And then there's a flat car that attaches right to it, and then after that I can just fill it in however I want. So let's grab this once again. I did not want to do that. I wanted this one. Okay. Perfect. Copy. What did I say? It attaches right here, yes. Okay, so since this one doesn't have a little deck on it, like these ones do, I'll still give it a one block gap. Yeah. Alright, and that's, if I was going based off of only the movie, that would be all the cars that are in this area, but I want to put in more, so. But before I do that, I don't want to forget, is I'm going to hook them together. This is not an accurate representation of how these would actually be coupled together in real life at all, but just for the game, this is good enough. So I'm just going to hook them up like that, and that one's by itself. I think I did that to these ones already. Yes. Alright. So that's pretty awesome. So the first thing I have in mind of additional cars I want to add in, it's these buildings right here, all of these three. So if I pull the picture back up for you guys to take a look with me here, if we're looking at it in the same angle as that picture, I pretty much am guessing and speculating, but I feel like these buildings here are probably receiving kind of warehouses. So I feel like the train cars go up beside them, and the materials are probably delivered into here, and then they're distributed through these pipes throughout the rest of the areas of the factory. So over here, I actually kind of did that already. I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking. So I mean, I just made a really basic little pipe with a little spout that hooks onto the top of the car here, and you know, I'm just saying, oh, it just sucks out. So this is a tank car. Tank cars generally hold liquids. So let's just say this is milk. Let's say this is holding milk to make chocolate. You know, milk chocolate. It sucks out the milk into the little building here. It gets distributed to wherever it needs to go. That's basically what I'm thinking for these buildings right here. So, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. Let me pull the picture back up. So, this train yard is basically half built right now. There's basically another one of these areas over here. It's kind of not really able to be seen on that image, so I apologize, but I'm going to have these buildings here, obviously, with these tracks. I'm going to add in more tracks over here, and then, like I said, it wasn't on that image, but I do have kind of a blurry image from the movie that shows this area over here. And instead of these long, skinny buildings, they're like larger, more rectangular buildings, you know, kind of similar to like the rest of how the factory looks over here. And the train tracks go up against them. So I'm treating these buildings as the ones that would like suck up liquids out of the tank cars. So I'm going to put more of these spouts on these walls. And because liquids obviously can only really be transferred through pipes, that's why all these pipes are going to be over here. Now, for the box cars and the flat cars, they do not carry liquids. They only carry generally dry goods or goods that are in like boxes or containers. So the box cars, for example, would carry cocoa beans. So they wouldn't get delivered over here. That's what this side is going to be for. They're going to look more like actual loading bays that people can just, you know, take the boxes out and unload them into like a big warehouse. So that's what's going to be over here. So these buildings are all just going to be for the tank cars, basically, is what I'm saying. So I'm going to add in a bunch of spouts coming out of these buildings. Now the best way to do that, I would love to have them centered. But I can't because these walls are 10 blocks long. Let's see. I don't really want the pipes to be any longer than like, let me get rid of all this. I want the pipes to just be 1 block wide. So like, I'm just throwing this in here for an example. You know, this is basically how I want them to look. If I wanted them to be center with the wall, they'd have to be like this. I don't really like that. But I also need to keep in mind the position of the tank cars. They're basically 3 areas that the spout could hook up to, either this block, this center one, or this one. I would like them all to be on the center, though. But I know this isn't going to line up to where I cannot have consistent spacing between the spouts. and also have the tank cars all hooked up to each other in a line without off of this one. It probably doesn't really make sense. It'll make sense when I actually do it. Did it again. Alright. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna have to deal with it. And have this be off-centered. Probably no one's really gonna notice other than me. And if people do notice, then oh well. Just an oversight on my part when I was building this building. I didn't really think about doing this until only a day or so ago. Alright, so that's actually exactly where I want this. So I want that lined up with this spout. For consistency's sake, I want to see how high off I built this one. Off the top of the tank car. So that's this block, is right? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks from the top of the tank car is where I need to place this. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is where that one's gonna go. Okay. Just like this. Like that, looking like, you know, whatever machine is inside of this building right here is just sucking up the contents of this car to send it to the factory. Which is somewhat similar to how this would be done in real life. Obviously, this is a little bit more fantastical. Okay, so I have... Basically, I need to place this next car to where I would like it to be. Like, I would like it to be here, but you can see the problem is the pipe would be placed in the window, and I would love for them to be in the same spot throughout the building. But that means the car would have to be, I think, 2, 3, 5, 1 block further. The car would have to be there, and I guess that's fine. But in reality, these cars, I would like them to be hooked together. That's how they would be in real life too, during the unload process. So what I think I'm going to actually do is place this car where I want it. Place another car behind it. This one's a little bit off-centered. There. Go. Wait a minute. What's wrong here? There we go. Put that one there. And the other cars are just not going to line up with the spouts. Exactly, so there is a real explanation of why that's okay. In real life, if that were to be the case where there was a spout here, here, and here, if they didn't perfectly line up, there would be basically a little train engine that would just hook on to this whole string of cars and just move them up a little bit so that they line up with the spouts. That's not ideal, but that's what I think I'm gonna have to do. So how many blocks is this? 4, yeah, and 2. That's just how it's gonna have to be. So now I think you can see what I'm saying. Like this one, once it's done, it'll get pulled up. This one will go to this one. This one will go to this one. That kind of thing. But this is what I like about building. Like, these are the little details. Like, I'm having a blast doing this kind of thing, you know? So. And this is the kind of stuff that I want to be kind of set apart my factory from all the others. I believe I'm the only person who has ever built the back train yard. There are other people who have built the back areas, but I think I'm the only one who has built the train yard because that's what's supposed to be here. So I'm going to do the same thing for these buildings. You know, it would be easier if I just knew how high up this was, so it's the third one. Right there. And then after I do this, I will put in the rest of the cars. Alright. So, I think that's going to look pretty cool. I'm just going to fill this entire track up with these cars here. I think that'll add some nice detail and some good depth to my build. And that's why I really love Axiom for doing this, because I can't even imagine how long this would take if I had to build all these by hand. So, pretty cool. Gotta move a little bit faster here. Probably only have room for one more. Maybe two. Maybe. Yes, nice. I think that looks awesome. It's too bad the banners pop in, you know. I believe there's something that we could do to fix that so they're always rendered, but I think that would probably maybe hamper performance a little bit, so I'm not gonna do that. We did something like that though. I haven't shown it much on camera, but if anyone's familiar with the opening credits of the movie where they're showing how the Wonka bars are made, I built that entire thing in my factory. I did a live stream a few months ago where I started working on it. I don't know if I ever showed it when it was completed. It's done now. But there's an area where the chocolate bars are pressed with the little design of like the individual squares and the little logo. So for that machine, we used brown shulker boxes to replicate the design in the chocolates. But the problem was when you view the shulker boxes from far away, they disappear. But my friend who works with me on this build for special effects, Fogarty Fox, he came up with a data pack that changed some type of code so the now the brown shulker boxes do not despawn when you look at them from far away, so they're represent it just like a normal block. So I'm sure we could do that with the banners, but I don't want to hamper the performance because this map already uses a lot of memory. If you look at the top right there, it goes up to like almost 5 gigabytes sometimes of memory usage, which is more than Minecraft normally allocates to the game. So you have to you can very easily edit how much available memory the game has, but this map requires a lot of memory just because of how large it is and how many blocks are placed. You know, there's millions, if I'm guessing, there have been millions of blocks deleted and placed in this world, so it's quite an undertaking for a computer. Alright, so I'm very pleased with that. While I have the tank cars selected, I think I should go ahead and just place in the rest of them where I want it. So, something to keep in mind here, if anyone's watching who is interested in trains or is just curious. I know a lot of this stream is me explaining stuff, so this is probably going to be one of the more boring ones to watch, but I have a fun time doing it, so that's just how it's going to be. These two tracks are called the main line. This is what a normal train would run on, just coming through here, off to wherever it needs to go. And then these tracks that are just holding cars that are just sitting there are called yard tracks, or sidings. So I don't want to have cars just sitting on these two tracks. These tracks need to be kept clear at all times for an incoming train to be able to just go through. So I can put stuff on any of these tracks, just not these tracks. So that's why these are going to be empty if you're wondering why I'm not going to put anything here. I do have, actually, I didn't show this. It goes all the way back to here with another little switch kind of thing. Turnout to get onto these tracks. I don't really think I'm going to extend them any further. There's really no reason to. I have no plans to extend the map out this way. So this just really needs to be long enough that it's out of render distance. That's all I need. So, but I do have it go all the way back there and all the way that way as far as it goes. Alright. Now, I don't want every track to be full of cars like this one is. In fact, actually, I think what would look a little kind of neat, I want to have one more car poking out this side. So it looks like this one has already been unloaded. And they're getting pulled forward slowly. So once they're all unloaded, they'll get pulled forward, and then they'll get put onto one of these tracks for a train to come pick them up and take them off somewhere. That's how that would work in real life. So that's why I don't want all of these tracks to be full, because there needs to be space for them to be sitting once they're empty for another train to come pick them up. So I think I think that's what I'm going to do with this track. I think I'm going to say this is I'm going to have another string of cars completely full on this track. And I'm just going to say those ones have already been unloaded. Now they're being set aside, and then a train will come down this way, hook onto them, and take them off somewhere else. So we're going to do that here. I am going to, however, I don't want it to be more cars than what's right here, because this is the most amount of cars that will fit on this track, and I don't want to have more cars sitting over here because that just wouldn't be physically possible. So how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I'm going to have 12 cars starting this way. And then I'll put some separate, like, one-off cars behind it. Alright. So yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that now. We'll move it a little bit back from the edge. In real life, there would be a distance right here to allow for clearance, so I'm going to do the same thing. That should be fine. I already forgot what I said that was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 12. Alright, that's a third of them. So now we just gotta do... Oh, I did not mean to do that. Did that mess things up? No, okay. Just gotta do the last 8. Alright, that is 2/3 of them. And that should be all 12. Yes. Oh, I never really mentioned, these things sitting here are just temporary placeholders in case I need to delete stuff on the factory and move them around. These will be gone when the map is finished. But for now, they're just chilling out here out of the way. Alright, I like how this is looking. Alright, now I know I literally just spent like 3 minutes explaining why this can't be more than 12 cars, because that's the maximum that can fit on the unloading track. But I'm going to think about it in the sense that once a set of 12 of them gets unloaded, they get shoved into here. A new set of 12 gets unloaded. And then they would also just get shoved into here. So this would actually accumulate quite a lot of them. So this track is probably long enough for 12 more, so I'm going to add in 12 more. It's kind of hard, like you can't really have too many train cars sitting. So I'd rather it look a little bit full than it look empty. Alright, that's 4. Two. 3. 4. Alright, how am I looking on space? Alright, that should be, I think we should be able to fit them all in. Whoa, I really messed that one up. Oh, I guess not, just by 1 block. And 1 more. Perfect. I have a nice long string of cars. I think that looks pretty cool. The red really obviously contrasts well with white and gray, so I think it looks pretty good. Alright, now I gotta... This is gonna take a little bit. I gotta hook them all together. I'm probably not going to add in too many more tank cars, just because there's already so many here, and I still have 2 other car types that I want to sprinkle throughout here. And I still want some of the tracks to be empty. I don't want all of them filled up to the brim with cars. I've been streaming for about an hour 45. I know there's not really anyone watching live right now, so I think what I might do is like finish connecting these, and I might go, for me at least, it's about lunchtime. I might go eat some lunch, and then maybe in like an hour or two, maybe, I might do a second stream today, kind of picking up where I'm leaving off. More people seem to be able to watch live when I do my regular stream time, like around 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I think that works out well for a lot of people that are over in the UK, for example, because they're about 5 hours ahead of me. So that's about time when they're done with work and school for the day. And since I'm in Eastern Standard Time, everyone in my time zone is working right now, and everybody in Pacific Standard Time, which is the other half of this country, is just waking up and getting to work. So there's not many people that are free during this time, I think, to really watch live. It's more fun to do when people are here actually, like, in the chat, so... And I'm getting hungry anyway. And we actually did quite a lot today. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but it was a lot. So, yeah, I think that's going to be the plan. So, if anyone is watching the replay and has skipped to this point, the tentative plan is that I'm going to take a break for a little bit, and then potentially stream again around 2 or 3 o'clock. But we'll see. So, yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for now. I appreciate anyone who was watching live, anyone who commented, or anyone who's watching the YouTube replay. I appreciate it. And, yeah, if I do end up streaming later, it's probably like 50-50 if I'm actually going to stream again today or not. If I do end up streaming again later, I'll see anyone then. If I don't, I do plan to have another showcase video out sometime this upcoming week. I don't usually put anything out on the weekends, but usually during the week I'll put something out. So look out for that. And then I don't have any schedule whatsoever when it comes time to streaming. I just do it when I feel like it and when I have time. So I can't really say when that's going to necessarily happen again, other than maybe later today, but we'll see what happens. So at the very least, expect a new video to be on my channel in the upcoming week, probably around Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. Maybe Monday if I get it finished early enough, but probably not. So yeah, I appreciate you watching, and yeah, I'll see you again when I see you.